What do you want from me?
I want to know who you are.
I don't know who I am.
Mark Harmon, a man once regarded as a symbol of composure and principle, has now become the center of countless unanswered questions. Vague stories, forgotten memories, and uncanny coincidences are causing his name to resurface more than ever. Could there be something untold behind that calm appearance and exemplary career? Let us trace back through time to uncover the mystery surrounding the man named Harmon. In 1982, a brutal murder in Oklahoma shocked the region. The victim, Tamara Denise Carter, was found dead in a suburban area, prompting an intense police investigation. The suspect was soon captured and sentenced to life imprisonment. What kept the case alive for decades was a curious coincidence: the surname Harmon appeared in the case file, the same name later made famous by actor Mark Harmon. When the case resurfaced years later, investigators and the public began to re-examine its details. A witness had claimed to see a tall man with short hair dining with the victim shortly before the crime. The description bore an uncanny resemblance to a young Mark Harmon, who was just beginning to rise in Hollywood at the time. Though no evidence linked him to the murder, the similarity fueled endless speculation. The old legal records were incomplete. Many sections were blurred or damaged, and torn notes merely showed the name Harmon without a first name. To some, it was a clerical error. To others, it hinted at confusion between two men who shared the same surname, one guilty, the other completely unrelated. That ambiguity became the first thread in a much larger mystery. The timing added to the intrigue. In the early 1980s, Mark Harmon was transitioning from college football star to television actor, appearing in high-profile roles that quickly made him a household name. When journalists rediscovered the Harmon reference in the case, many readers instinctively linked it to the actor. Articles, letters, and later online discussions spread the theory, though there was a total lack of verified evidence. Outside the courtroom, smaller personal stories about Mark Harmon began to circulate, adding fuel to public imagination. One rumor described his involvement in a custody dispute over his nephew. Another claimed his dog had once injured a co-worker. These ordinary incidents, harmless in most contexts, were suddenly recast as signs of a hidden temperament, stern, distant, perhaps even volatile. In the public mind, every detail became a clue. Reports that Harmon had once been hospitalized for exhaustion only deepened the fascination. For most performers, such a break was routine, but to rumor seekers, it symbolized inner conflict, a man haunted by secrets. As fragments of truth and fantasy blended, a distorted image of the man named Harmon began to take shape. With the rise of online forums, amateur investigators began comparing photographs of Michael Eugene Harmon, the convicted man, with those of Mark Harmon. They pointed to similar facial structures, postures, and expressions. Crime analysis channels released videos dissecting gestures and voice patterns to suggest a connection. None of it was verified. The theories spread rapidly, convincing many that coincidence alone could not explain it. Another theory proposed that the two Harmons were distant relatives and that confusion within the family name had caused mistakes in the investigation. No document ever proved such a relationship, but social media narratives flourished. Some claimed that Mark Harmon's later fame led authorities or the media to suppress links that might have drawn public scrutiny. Others imagined a family secret buried deep within the Harmon lineage. 4 decades later, the murder of Tamara Denise Carter remains among Oklahoma's most puzzling crimes. Every time the name Harmon resurfaces, public opinion divides: one side dismissing the link as pure coincidence, the other convinced there is an unspoken truth hidden beneath. For many, the case symbolizes the uneasy intersection between fame and mystery, where a name can echo across two entirely different worlds. Countless discussions have taken place, yet no credible evidence has ever tied Mark Harmon to the murder case. Law enforcement never identified him as a suspect, and the records confirm no contact between him and those involved. Still, questions persist. Why were the documents incomplete? Why did witnesses disagree on what they saw? And why did so many loose ends seem to trace back to the same surname? That uncertainty has allowed the story to survive far beyond its legal boundaries. What began as a straightforward criminal case has evolved into a cultural phenomenon, a blend of history, rumor, and imagination. Some view it as an unsolved conspiracy, others as an example of how coincidence can be transformed by collective curiosity. The mystery endures because it touches something timeless, the tension between truth and perception. The more people attempt to separate fact from fiction, the more intertwined the two become. Decades later, the question remains not only who killed Tamara Denise Carter, but also who the elusive Harmon truly was, and why his name continues to haunt both the case and popular imagination. Inside the old case files lie fragments, blurred pages, torn notes, missing lines, each one whispering part of a story that may never be fully told. In that shadowed space between evidence and myth, the Harmon mystery continues to live forever, straddling the thin line between silence and revelation. The Mysterious Files. Years after the 1982 case had seemingly closed, a collection of old documents allegedly leaked, sparking a renewed public debate. These papers contained details never officially released, pages excluded from the original verdict or withheld from circulation. Among them, the name Harmon appeared, once more igniting speculation about whether the new evidence could reshape the entire understanding of the case. The leaked documents included the testimony of an anonymous witness who claimed to have seen the victim accompanied by an unidentified man before the crime. The transcript referred only to a man with the surname Harmon, without a first name or further description. From that single mention, the public began to fill in the blanks, fueling a storm of conjecture. Another file contained a report from the lead investigator noting that a man named Harmon had once been questioned but released for lack of evidence. His identity was never confirmed, and no official record of him remained. Some believed this figure had been quietly erased from the witness list. Why he was dismissed remained unanswered. During the original trial, the defense attorney for the accused, Michael Eugene Harmon, requested multiple reviews of the witness list and crime scene timeline. At one point, he mentioned another Harmon, but the remark was not entered into the court record. Journalists' notes suggested that when questioned about it, the judge dismissed the issue as irrelevant to the case. That omission only deepened public suspicion that something vital had been overlooked. One cryptic page contained a brief line: "Individual H refused to testify. Has left the state." Though no details were provided, that sentence became the spark for countless online discussions decades later. Many claimed that Individual H referred to actor Mark Harmon. There was no evidence, only the coincidence of name and timing, but it was enough to reignite curiosity. The trial of Michael Eugene Harmon had unfolded amid intense scrutiny. Lawyers, witnesses, and prosecutors struggled to clarify the motive. Many details remained obscured. One witness said they heard an argument on the night of the murder, but could not identify the voices. Some claimed it was a calm, younger male voice different from the accused's. Still, that statement never appeared in the final verdict. Even the interrogation recordings appeared tampered with. Analysts who later examined copies noticed an unexplained pause lasting several seconds during the defendant's testimony, right after a question about a man of the same surname. No one knew what had been removed, but the timing seemed too precise to be coincidence. This missing section fueled suspicions that someone had been shielded from scrutiny. Throughout the proceedings, Michael Eugene Harmon maintained silence about any possible accomplice. When asked if others were involved, he cryptically replied, "Everything was arranged beforehand." Years later, those words continued to spark debate. Some believed he was hinting at another person's involvement. Others saw them as despairing resignation. Before sentencing, he added only, "The one who should bear the blame chose silence." His meaning was never clarified. A life sentence was imposed and the case formally closed. Public speculation refused to die. Without photographs, records, or confirmed ties, rumor alone kept the controversy alive. To some, the repeated mention of Harmon was coincidence. To others, it was the shadow of a missing truth. As time passed and Mark Harmon rose to television stardom, the 1982 case returned to the spotlight. Fans began to weave theories linking his roles as detectives and agents to an unspoken past, perhaps a form of atonement or hidden confession. Of course, no evidence supported such claims, but Harmon's reserved nature added to the intrigue. In interviews, when asked about his early years, he often gave vague answers, which only deepened the sense of mystery. Some speculated that Mark Harmon carried a burden from long ago, not guilt, but knowledge. Others theorized a family tie between him and the convicted man, suggesting they might have been distant relatives. None of these ideas were substantiated, but ambiguity made the legend even more compelling. After the document leaks, an independent committee requested that the case be reopened. The motion was denied for lack of legal grounds. Every attempt to uncover the identity of the man named Harmon ended in silence and uncertainty. As the theories multiplied, attention slowly shifted away from the case itself toward the man at its center. Who was Mark Harmon? Where did he come from? And how had an ordinary name grown into one of the most respected in American television? Those questions transformed the narrative from an unresolved mystery of crime into a deeper search for the man behind the spotlight. Screen icon. Mark Harmon was born in Burbank, California, into a family deeply rooted in American culture. His father, Tom Harmon, was one of the country's greatest football players, while his mother, Elise Knox, was a celebrated actress during Hollywood's golden age of the 1940s. Growing up in a household of fame and discipline, Harmon was raised to value independence, honor, and hard work. His parents taught him to earn recognition on his own merits, not to rely on their success. In his youth, Harmon attended the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, where he excelled as the football team's quarterback. Many predicted a promising sports career. After graduation, he chose a different path: television. The decision surprised many, but Harmon remained firm, determined to carve out his own identity beyond the football field. Entering the entertainment industry in the 1970s, Harmon began with small television roles and commercials. It was a challenging period. He had to prove he was more than Tom Harmon's son. With his calm demeanor, steady voice, and quiet intensity, he gradually gained recognition. His early appearances in crime dramas hinted at his future screen presence, understated but commanding. He didn't rely on flashy gestures. Instead, his strength came through subtle expression and controlled energy. By the early 1980s, Harmon had become a familiar face on American television. He often portrayed figures of integrity: police officers, doctors, or men defined by discipline and moral conviction. His background as an athlete influenced his acting style: precise, consistent, and quietly powerful. Directors praised his ability to project authority without excessive dialogue, a rare quality that made him ideal for leading roles in serious dramas. The defining moment of his career came when he was cast as Leroy Jethro Gibbs in the long-running series NCIS. The character, a stoic, principled federal agent who lived by his own moral code, quickly became iconic. Through Gibbs, Harmon embodied the archetype of the American hero: strong, loyal, restrained, and deeply human. Over nearly 2 decades, he became the backbone of NCIS, helping it rise to international success and solidify its place as one of television's most watched shows. This achievement earned Harmon not only fame, but enduring respect. He was never the loud, flamboyant type of star. Instead, he represented professionalism and quiet authority. Colleagues often described him as meticulous, punctual, and deeply respectful of the crew. His preparation before every scene and his calm leadership on set established him as a model of work ethic in a turbulent industry. In Hollywood, where egos often dominate, his steadiness was exceptional. Beyond acting, Harmon moved into production, founding his own company to create television projects built on integrity and moral depth. With a precise eye for detail, he helped shape NCIS's authentic style, valuing realism, balance, and substance over glamour. He preferred staying behind the scenes, letting the quality of his work define him rather than fame or wealth. Throughout his career, Harmon has remained free from scandal, earning a reputation for stability and professionalism. His marriage to actress Pam Dawber is enduring and private, reflecting his belief in discretion. By avoiding publicity, he has gained both admiration and intrigue. His quietness, often speaking louder than words. Even as speculation occasionally surrounded him, whether about family matters, rumored disputes, or the resurfacing of stories tied to the Harmon name, he never engaged publicly. He neither denied nor explained. He simply continued working. To many, that restraint mirrored the characters he played, calm, self-controlled, and guided by principle. His silence became a signature, reinforcing the aura of mystery that surrounds him. Harmon's career demonstrates that longevity in Hollywood doesn't require noise, it requires discipline. Over 4 decades, he proved that consistent effort and respect for craft outweigh fleeting fame. His awards and nominations reflect not only talent, but also credibility, the trust of audiences who admire his integrity. The success of NCIS is more than professional triumph. It symbolizes the audience's connection to his authenticity. Today, even as he steps away from the spotlight, Harmon continues to contribute quietly as a producer, advisor, and mentor to younger actors. He selects projects thoughtfully, focusing on stories with meaning and moral depth. His philosophy remains clear: choose substance over spectacle, quality over trend. In an industry obsessed with attention, Harmon has built a legacy of restraint and endurance. For Mark Harmon, stepping back from acting is not retirement, it's evolution. He continues to shape television from behind the scenes with the same patience and precision that defined his on-screen career. He acts without seeking recognition, proving that influence doesn't require visibility. To many, Mark Harmon stands as a symbol of professional integrity and quiet strength, a man who achieved greatness not through fame or controversy, but through steadfast commitment to doing his job well. His legacy, much like his most famous character, endures not because it shouts for attention, but because it speaks through consistency, dignity, and silence. Peace. Mark Harmon's private life is far simpler than his public image suggests. He and his wife, actress Pam Dawber, married in the 1980s and have maintained a remarkably long-lasting relationship in the entertainment world. The couple lives quietly in California, far from Hollywood's bustle. After their marriage, Dawber stepped away from acting to raise their children and manage the household. Their 2 sons, Sean and Ty, have grown up to pursue their own paths without relying on their parents' fame. The Harmon family rarely appears in public, but remains close-knit and grounded. Harmon leads a modest life, spending his time gardening, woodworking, and exercising daily. He believes perseverance is the key to maintaining strength and vitality, both physical and mental. Though his fortune is estimated in the hundreds of millions of dollars, Harmon does not flaunt his wealth. He avoids luxury cars, grand parties, and flashy auctions, preferring to invest in real estate and charitable foundations. Colleagues describe him as a man who views money as a tool for independence rather than display. His quiet confidence and humility make him stand out in a business driven by attention. Professionally, Mark Harmon remains highly respected in television. While he no longer acts regularly, he is often invited to consult on production and mentor young actors. His precision, punctuality, and uncompromising standards have become a model for the next generation. When discussing success, he sums it up simply: "It only comes when you're willing to work hard every day." That philosophy has earned him deep respect from both peers and audiences. Harmon stays off social media, believing that avoiding constant exposure helps preserve focus and peace of mind. This absence makes him a rare figure in today's celebrity culture, mysterious, admirable. Fans know little about his daily life, but that very distance keeps their admiration alive. Even without constant publicity, Harmon's name continues to appear in discussions of actors with lasting influence. Producers say his mere involvement can draw attention to a project. His enduring appeal comes not from scandals or publicity stunts, but from decades of credibility and professionalism. From college football player to leading man and television icon, his journey reflects persistence, discipline, and quiet strength. Those who have worked with him describe a man of few words but strong presence. During filming, he was usually the first to arrive and the last to leave, earning the full respect of his crews. Even after stepping away from acting, he maintains contact with former colleagues, sending congratulations when their shows succeed. Such gestures reveal his loyalty and generosity beyond the screen. Now, in his 70s, Harmon remains sharp and passionate about storytelling. Though no longer performing, he continues reading new scripts, advising projects, and following the industry's evolution. When asked what makes him most proud, he once said, "I never worked for fame. I just wanted to do my job well." That statement perfectly defines him, a man who values effort over glory. In an era ruled by noise and exposure, Mark Harmon's quiet, steady life stands as proof that true success doesn't need constant attention. It only requires integrity, dedication, and peace of mind. If you wish to continue exploring such stories, where the line between truth and illusion always invites reflection, subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next stories.